Well, of course, with the holidays being here, Christmas and such, of course, you're probably going to have family over, friends over, and you'll always probably have the traditional foods, maybe some ham, turkey, side dishes, of course, the vegetable tray, and some dips. But let's try a dip today. It's going to be maybe a little bit different for you, but it's going to add a lot of flavor into just what little bit it actually takes to put this dish together. It is black bean mango salsa. So let's look at the ingredients. Just told you two of them, right? Got the mango already cut up over here inside my bowl. I've got the red pepper, somewhat already cut up, but I want to leave it because it's such a beautiful red pepper. So mango over here. This is about 3 mangoes I've diced up so far. We're going to have lime juice. We're going to have cumin. We're going to have some red onion here, fresh jalapeno, and of course, as I mentioned there, the black beans. We're going to top some things out with some cilantro. There's no cooking to this. There's no baking it, and maybe just throw it in the fridge and let it chill. That's really about it. So what we're going to do here is begin this process, and the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and add in our black beans. This is 1 can of black beans. Then you take them out, put them inside a colander, and then rinse them out. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Kind of let them dry out a little bit, but nothing too liquidy because you're going to be adding liquids into this yourself. So there you go. Black beans are in there, ready to go. Tools that you're going to need with this, probably a really good knife. Maybe your chef knife if you got one. And also I recommend a paring knife with this, especially when we're talking about the mango. So I've already diced up the mango as you saw. But what you're going to do with your mango, let's just pretend this red pepper here is the mango. You're going to take your big sharp knife, and that's when you're just going to slide right down the edge. And this is the way you're going to cut your pepper too, to really kind of avoid the seeds. Some will be in there, not many, that's okay. And then when that's the case, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your paring knife, and that's when you'll begin the process of just kind of going under the mango, but away from the skin, as you see there. That will let you really take off that mango and then chop it up even more. So the paring knife is really good for that. When it comes to cutting techniques of different things here, what you'll do here is when you're cutting like a bell pepper, kind of cut it from the inside so that you have that nice, just crisp cut right there all the way down, and then you'll have some little sprigs here, if you will. Those are good for dips, by the way, like a ranch dip. But then you'll just sit there and then begin to just cut up your bell pepper just like that. Absolutely beautifully cut now bell pepper. When it comes to your jalapeno, it is going to be on the hot side. So what you're going to do here is to reduce some of that heat. Again, you're going to take your paring knife, go ahead and cut off the top of that jalapeno. Then what you'll do is just go right down the center of your jalapeno. And you will see here, inside, of course, are the seeds and the membrane. That is where your heat is. So if you take yourself a spoon, and be careful with this. You see I'm wearing gloves because of the jalapeno. Don't want to scratch my eyes or anything. But if you take a spoon and go down the edge, you'll hear it kind of cracking, if you will, and then go under it. That is how you can remove the membrane and the seeds all in one piece, as you see there. And then inside, you'll still have maybe little seeds left. Just kind of dump them out. And there you go. You're still going to get your jalapeno flavor. You're just not going to have a lot of that heat. In the same situation here, you'll just cut your jalapeno into quarters, and there you go. Then you're just going to do the same thing here. You'll just cut that up. And I would recommend on this one to really spend some time cutting up the jalapeno because you don't want really big chunks of this. You just kind of want to, get yourself a little bit of kick in those bites ever so often. So there is our diced up jalapeno. We'll go ahead and throw those in there, kind of big chunks, but that's okay. We'll throw those in there and get those out of the way. Now what you're going to do next here is you're going to take yourself some cilantro as well as a little bit of cumin. So put about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of your cumin in there. Take your cilantro bunch here. Fresh cilantro, by the way, that would be really good. And just kind of rip some off, take the stems off there. Same thing here, once again, with your knife. You're going to take your knife and just begin that chopping process. That's really going to open up the flavor here of the cilantro, nice and fresh. Give yourself there a little bit of a rough chop. Don't want the leaves too big because, they'll get caught in your teeth, and then hopefully someone's nice to you and says, hey, you got some cilantro caught in your teeth, just in case. So there we go, a nice rough chop here of the cilantro. That's going to be about 1/2 teaspoon there. That's all you're going to do. Just keep adding in your ingredients. You're going to add in here about 1/2 of a red onion. You're also going to get yourself some lime juice by doing this fresh with a lime. Now, when you cut your lime or your lemon, whatever you may be using, orange, anything like that, citrus, whatever you're using there, you can actually cut it in half, put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. That's going to give you a whole lot of juice, and then just squeeze get that knife. Oh, look at that right there. Great fresh juice into your mixture. And then, of course, add in your mango. I'm going to keep adding the ingredients. That's all you have to do with this. Is just add in the ingredients, stir it up nice and even, and serve it here with some chips, maybe even some Ritz crackers. I'm going to wrap things up here. Ron will have it for you coming up in just a minute with a taste test.